If you follow along on your recipe in front of you, it's very easy, it's very fast, and I was just telling Cindy that I'm so used to just making it out of habit, and I don't always follow, well, I don't follow the recipe. So I had to really look at it and figure out what I was doing because I'm not used to actually following it to a T.
So for those of you who came expecting a well-organized, put-together performance, you're going to be disappointed.
Well, that's not very nice. That's not very nice.
Maybe not on her behalf, but because the Food Network has not picked us up yet, so we still have full-time jobs.
Yes. Yes, but as soon as they pick us up, there's no stopping us.
We'll stay here.
There's no stopping us. We'll still be here on occasion. Okay.
The little people.
Make sure I'm following the same recipe you are. I've got my oven preheated to 375. I've got 2 cups of chicken here. I use the canned chicken for this just because it's quicker, it's easier, and for 2 cups I didn't want to waste what was not going to be used tonight, so because I couldn't get a package that was really small. So I went ahead and used the canned chicken. I used a 12-ounce and a 5-ounce one, so it's a little bit more than 2 cups, but that's okay. And see, that was so easy. I've been boiling the chicken all day long, and after I got it out of the pasture, and it also asks next for 1 cup of broccoli chopped. I go pretty heavy on my broccoli because I like the broccoli, so I just chop it up just small enough, not too tiny. A little chunky, isn't it pretty? I pick out the best broccoli. Food City broccoli. Now mix that up a little bit. And then it asks for a 1/2 cup of red bell pepper, chopped. So I chopped it fine. Tried to make sure there wasn't any juice in it. Didn't want to make it too soggy. Can you see? Oh, yay. I am on camera. That way you can see it. Okay. I'm being all proper. Usually at home it's just throw it in there. So I'm trying to be... Okay, the garlic clove. I used the minced garlic in the little jar. I've never made it with actual garlic just because if it gets on my hands, it's there for weeks and it won't go away. So I'll just use a teaspoon of this. Sometimes I put a little bit more in there if I'm feeling a little frisky for some more garlic. It's strong. We don't have any vampires in here, do we? Ooh. Not now. You need that, huh? Oh, so y'all, we're gonna garlic them up tonight. So we're all gonna do garlic and onion. Okay. So we've got the garlic and then 4 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese. I've got Fruit Club cheese here. Use the sharp, and I don't measure it out. It's 4 ounces. I just use half the bag. So it's a good way. I just eyeball it. I'd usually just grab it like in half and just dump it in there. And that way everything else just stays in the bottom. So. Yeah, I'm gonna put a little bit in there. We all like cheese. Cheese is good.
That's pretty.
It's pretty. It's very colorful. I'm slinging it everywhere. It's very colorful. Okay, next on there we've got mayonnaise, dill, and salt. Now the recipe calls. You had the mayo somewhere.
Put it back on the door.
We're like an old married couple.
I know, it's on the door.
What'd you
see
do with it?
What's it do? Gosh. It's a snake, it'll bit you.
It's the recipe actually is a Pampered Chef recipe, and it calls for their all-purpose dill mix. But I don't have that. I just use regular dill. So it calls for 2 teaspoons of their dill mix or 1 teaspoon of just dried dill. And because of the way that I am. You can follow the recipe, but I usually just measure it out a little bit in my hand, about like that, and then put it in there.
How many of you cook like that? You just kind of measure, okay. We're among friends.
Good. And same thing with the salt. I'm not a big salt person, but, and this would be a fancy sea salt grinder. I think Cindy.
Because now we're really cooking when we're grinding the salt.
Oh, when we're grinding, we're really cooking. So we get that all mixed up in there, and I usually, it has, I think, half a cup. Like I said, I'm not used to following the recipe, I just do it. But for the mayonnaise, I just get it to where it's good and mixed up and not like a tuna salad or chicken salad that's real creamy, very creamy. Just get it good and mixed up and moist so that it'll have some kind of texture whenever it goes into the braid. And on the braid, I use the two packages of crescent rolls. And see, that's still a little bit too dry for me, so I'll put a little bit more in there. I use mayonnaise. I've used Miracle Whip before, but I'm not a fan of the Miracle Whip in it. It's just much better with mayo to me. But everybody has their own taste. And you could probably use different cheeses. You could use any kind of cheese that you want. Mozzarella, if you want to try mozzarella.
Got Swiss.
Swiss. Mm-hmm. You could use just about anything.
Pepper jack.
Whew. Like it's
Get up a
spicy.
notch.
Okay, now that's a pretty good consistency. Pretty good consistency right there. It's not too dry still, so we've got a little bit of mayonnaise mixed in there. Okay. Make sure I've done everything before I blow it out of the water. Okay. Time for the crescent rolls. And I just get a regular jelly roll tray, cookie sheet, anything good and flat. And I sit here and try and figure out how to open them. And then beat it on the counter. Actually, that one's working pretty well. All right.
My brother-in-law lives in Las Vegas, and he had been to the grocery store because we were coming out, and he bought biscuits in a can. And I guess on the way home it was 105 degrees. So he brings them inside, puts them in the fridge. We go to open them, and I let my son do it, and he popped it on the counter, and that stuff went everywhere. I guess it got real hot, and then got cold again, and then got real hot. My kids thought it was hilarious. I, on the other hand,
I thought maybe if it exploded in the car and was like a bullet just went flying across the That'd be a little scary. I would think that's a waste of a good biscuit, you know? But, exactly. Okay, so I did 2 packages of crescent rolls. And you see what I did here? Just lay them out. And there, I've done it. It's time. Give me. I know she has a lot more aggression than me, so I just hand it to her. She's just aggressive, crazy in the kitchen.
I have a husband and 2 children. I can.
Didn't get it, Kim. That's right. And then what I usually do is, if there's a pizza cutter, which I'm not sure if there's a pizza cutter in here or not, I will just cut the edges. If not, I'll just use the knife here. If I can find the knife. My kind of woman. Strong. All right. And so we just leave them connected and lay them all out. And here in just a minute is when you're going to go, ooh, oh, because you're going to see what in the world I'm going to do with all this. It's
Even if
really
you just
pretty
pile
cool.
that on top of there and bake it, I don't see how it could be bad.
You know, one time I made it, I started making it, and I realized that I didn't have any crescent rolls in the fridge. I thought I did. I don't know. Had a senior moment. And I just ate it out of the bowl. Just eat it out of the bowl. It's no big deal. Little knife.
Yeah.
Little knife. Okay, so I usually have a pizza cutter. And I cut it in, usually I take each section of crescent rolls and I just cut it into threes. So you see here what I'm doing. And on each side. And just so I've got it in like 3 strips, and then the strip where they came together is the next one. So it causes the little braid. Can everybody see what I'm doing here? I don't know how clear that camera is. I don't really want to look up for fear that I'll cut my finger. So you just tell me if you have any questions. Okay, so usually a pizza cutter works pretty well because I can just, and then when I go to cut it at the end, after it's nice and pretty and baked, I can use that. So, okay, easy thing here. Dump it. Just dump it in there. And try to do it without making too much of a mess. Which is what I'm trying to do here. I noticed that there's sometimes that I end up with a lot more chicken or a lot more broccoli, and I just throw it in there anyways because it's really not going to hurt anything. And it makes it very large. And it's a really fat braid, and sometimes it doesn't get cooked. The crescent rolls don't get cooked all the way through, so they get just a little gooey. So I try and flatten it out as much as I can. Keep it in the middle here.
So when you're at home, do you always use that spoon, or do you kind of?
I don't use a spoon. I use hands. I just get it in there and get it chopped up. So I just mix it up and flatten it out there. Now here we go. Here's the key thing here. Okay, you take your little strips here and you twist them. You put them up. Twist them. Put them up. I feel like I'm teaching aerobics. Twist it. Put it up. Twist it again.
Okay, do it a little slower. Twist. There you go.
It's gonna fall apart.
Do you like pinch it when you get them together?
Yeah, pinch it. It'll pretty much bake together, but can you see that up there?
I need the broccoli braid for dummies version.
It's pretty simple because if nobody sees you doing this and as soon as you get it out of the oven, they're like, wow, and I'm like, yeah. I made that. And I'm not gonna tell you how.
It's my secret.
It's my secret. I just get suckered into making it every single time my mother comes to visit her. I go to visit her in Nashville. I've hooked her. So, anyways, okay, so a little messy there on the end. But I would make sure your crescent rolls stay in the fridge. If you notice, don't let them, because they're gonna work easier when they're still cold. So I just kind of pack it in a little bit there, get the edges in, roll it up on the ends here, and make it all pretty. Now, this is the part I don't do at home because to me, I just want to hurry up and get it in the oven and just be done with it. But take an egg white. Oh yeah. You know, brown it, make it all pretty, but
So you don't have to use egg white.
I usually don't, but I thought, well, for the class, I'll try it. Mm-hmm.
I started to say butter would be even.
Yeah. And then, after I've coated a little bit there, take slivered almonds.
God, there's
Slivered
more?
almonds, yes.
Whew.
And then we put chocolate chips on it. And I think it calls for, I think, 2 tablespoons. I pretty much just cover it because I love the almonds, and when they get browned, they're really, really good. And it just adds a nice little crunch because the broccoli will still be a little crunchy, but this adds a good crunch to it whenever. I stuff it there in the end like it's a turkey. There we go. And that's
Have you
what
ever
looks
made it
like.
with anything other than chicken?
No. I haven't. I've wondered about fish or ham or turkey.
No, I meant like sausage and biscuits, like breakfast fish.
So we're gonna put it in the oven, 375.
This is why she's the tall, thin one, and I'm the shorter.
And so,
Ta-da!
ta-da, your turn. So we're gonna wait on that. It's about 15 or 20 minutes. I just eyeball it when it starts looking. The reason I don't use the egg whites is sometimes the top starts getting very, very brown, and I can't tell if it's ready underneath, so I just leave it off and let it get middle in between. So for the sake of this class, we use the egg white. And if you start smelling something and seeing smoke, holler, please. Oh, now great.
Ooh, broccoli braid.
See?
I thought y'all were oohing over the mayonnaise, and I thought, really? Let's take a moment for the broccoli braid, because it is beautiful.
Okay, it's cool just enough. It's still going to be a little gooey on the middle, but the almonds are going to fall off there. But that's okay. I'm just going to let it. Pretty.